Hello, everyone. The topic for the day is human resource reporting. Now, this particular presentation will be giving you a glimpse as to what exactly or what all various reports that the human resource department actually compiles at the end of the day. Probably when I say at the end of the day, it's at the end of a quarter, perhaps at the end of a year. So basically, I would give you the agenda. It's basically I'll tell you the introduction about it, what exactly is an ornogram. We can fix the names to a particular organization chart. I will also take a proxy organization from one of my erstwhile career in Middle East, wherein I'll share you the details of the organization without divulging the name of the organization. So we'll talk about the organizational chart out there. We'll talk about the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is nothing but strength, weakness, opportunities, and instead of threat, it's challenges that we used to call them. So that is what been mentioned out here. The areas of improvement, we'll talk about it. What are the recommendations that we would foresee for the forthcoming year, and the statistical data, and how do we present it? It is going to be a very short, very sweet presentation, and believe me, it will give you a gamut of an ideas what are the various kind of reportings or reports that can be generated by the HR department to project the audience, project an external audience about the organization. And there can be report which can be generated again for the internal consumption of the top management, the other stakeholders of an organization altogether. So the way you want to process it, please welcome to go ahead with it. Remember, human resource reporting firm is vibrant and dynamic and is definitely unique to any particular organization. No two organization will follow the same reporting methods, pattern, or probably the same report at all. So keep an open mind to yourself. This particular presentation, this particular video will enrich you with the various reports that an organization actually builds up for its the audience I've already defined. You can be an external to the organization, or probably for the internal employees of the organization for the consumption. So basically, what are we talking around here? We are talking nothing. We are talking about the summarization of activities, the targets which have been set by the organization, more often by the human resource department, and in general by the organization. Please understand, to understand the operations of the department, we have conducted, and I will show you the SPOC analysis or the SWOT analysis that you want to go around it. The strength, weakness, opportunities, and challenges will be discussed in the subsequent slide. Remember to base all your data with the help of critical incidents also. This report is stupendously data driven. Collect those data and present the data in the ways you want to fine tune them, in the ways you want to present them, in the ways it demanded or requested. I am giving you an organization chart from one of my previous career in an erstwhile organization. Remember, this particular organization is based in Middle East, and I've deliberately done it for an international audience like you people who are actually watching this particular video. So we have a managing director. Please, you can assign a name out here. Every place you can assign a name for the chief financial officer. You can assign a name for the project that goes around it. It might be a civil project. It can be an internal IT project. It can be anything. It can be a developer that you're talking about. It. Every person can be denoted as per the organization chart. The organization chart, the managing director is the head. We can be further fragmented into the various department, be it the human resources, be it the estimation, the procurement, the finance, the IT, the quality section. We are talking about it, projects, admin, and HR managers. We are defining around it the commercial managers and CFOs, the chief financial officers. That is there. So we have the regional quality managers also. So that's it. What is an organization chart? Again, this chart has been given as a reference point, and believe me, all of you are watching this particular video. Please make it relevant to your organization. Think about your organization, the ornogram that the organization functions in, and you can actually put the names out there and see how it goes around it. We will talk about the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the challenges hereby in the subsequent slide. talk about the strength, the recruitment, number of people who have been onboarded, number of people who are availing in-house accommodation, and so on and so forth. These are the reports that you can generate in terms of strength, weakness, opportunities, and challenges. What are they? The employee retention might be a challenge. Who are staying with the organization? What is the attrition rate? Are there any visas and work permits? Did I say I based it in a third world, third way countries, in a different country where the host country nationals, parent country nationals, and third country nationals all together work together. So we need to have the HCNs and TCNs and PCNs. Some of them, for example, the host nation's employees will not be requiring work permits, will not be requiring visa, but the parent country nationals and the third country national would require the work permits, would require the employment visa. They must be actually hunting for accommodation as an incentive to join an organization. The healthcare cost is bare minimum or be it exorbitantly priced, but it should be taken care by the organization. Use of technology is the challenge. Did I say in my previous slide that it is yet to be tech driven, and that is what we are talking it out. Remember again, these are things that can be given as a report, the challenges report, if you want to go about it. In this case, it is an employee retention, visa, work permits, accommodation, healthcare cost, and use of technology in our areas of improvement is something which we can go around it. The employee retention status that we talk about, the revamping of human resource policies, the human resource procedure, the accommodation, probably the facility needs to be enhanced. If it is a labor camp that we are talking about, if it is a staff accommodation we are talking about, what extra facilities, if it is to be a fully furnished accommodation, can we go for it? If there are attached bathrooms, attached restrooms, attached to the living quarters, please go for it. We need to talk about the visa bulk preparation and application. We need to go around it. Can it be a technology driven organization? Can it be a bit more digitalized rather than the physical mode that we have been trying to do with it? Employee learning, employee training, and employee development is what we aspire to go around it. We need to improve the quality of the employees and who undergoing training and development, and thus improve the productivity of the organization. So KPIs needs to be developed. It needs to be made accountable. It needs to be implemented. Key performance indicator is one of the important parameters or pillars that we need to work upon it. The internal audit run by the HR department, which can be on 90 days, 180 days, or probably 365 days. Should I say quarterly, biannually, or annually? Medical insurance and healthcare is what is to be required and should be customized towards the level of the employees or the complexity of the job that the one endures in an organization. Grading structures to be revised to ensure consistent compensation and benefit policies within the company. Salary reviews to be based on meeting of preset key performance indicator. Performance review by the managers, the departmental heads, needs to be understood what exactly has been meant by probation, what exactly is meant by confirmation of employment, in order to tackle any unsatisfactory performance that of a new joiner comes into it. Building a core HR team to have a right skills and attitude to achieve long-term goals, and improving effectiveness of HR in the company, improve project mobilization. Please understand the plan of what exactly is the duration when your responsibility needs to be delivered, choosing the right people at the right means of recruitment, and not employing agencies or employing other consultants for the right people. Doing it on yourself, getting quality resources is of prime importance. At the same time, one should never forget that the cost adjoined towards it, cost needs to be. So what do we give? We can have an HR report based on the recommendation part also, wherein we develop and update a comprehensive handbook. This is a wonderful thing that goes around it. The employee handbook, because it serves as a guide. It tells what are the rights of the employees, what are the duties that is expected of the employees, the revisions of the development and the implementation of new HR policies and procedures, We need to understand the technical and behavioral training. What is expected? How do you behave? How do you perform? How do you go about the things? Development of key performance indicators for the staff, and educate them about the key performance indicators, make them accountable, make them understand, drive it through their system, ingrained into their DNA. When you are on a job, you should be professionally reflecting the ethos of the organization. So we call about the performance review, be it of annual, which is 365 days, biannual, which is every 180 days, or probably quarterly, every 90 odd days. The performance review, the feedback has to be given. The introduction to the MIS, the Management Information System, akin to the human resources, will be known as Human Resource Information System. This itself will give you a lot and lots of reports and avenues to fetch any data and present it to the management as and when required. Whenever the top manager beckons the HR, it can provide instantaneous reports to them so that they may take appropriate and almost the right decision. Employee retention strategies or the at reducing of the attrition rate becomes very pertinent. Why? Because we are not only cultivating accommodation, we are not only cultivating training and development, we are not only investing in their visas, everything goes to go to make it a cost effective organization. If people are leaving, if the attrition rate is very high, it doesn't make sense. In fact, we are not able to curtail the cost. Internal human resource audits to ensure all HR operations are up to the predefined standards. Be clear, be effective with the communication, coordination amongst the project head and the head office staff in order to understand the project in a much better, productive way. So statistic data, this is where the reporting is all about it. Once we understand, in fact, I am in through the most of my the content part it, and the next part would be only about the various types of data that has been depicted. Remember, not each of the data has to be unique for an organization. You just cannot copy one report and present it the other way around. But if you have a number of data at your disposal, you can manipulate the data to crux out, to squeeze the information out of it. We can talk about recruitment, we can talk about the turnover. Remember, I'm not talking about the turnover of money, but probably the turnover of the employees or the attrition rate. We are talking about accommodation. If we are renting it out, if we are providing subsidized accommodation, or probably we are giving free accommodation to the employees as a benevolent organization, the number of services years that one actually devotes into an organization, then therefore there can be a total workforce. Remember, this can everything can be converted into percentage. Remember, everything can be converted into percentage. The recruitment percentage, how many people applied and how many people joined. In between, the percentage can be how many people were interviewed, how many people were offered. Turnovers will be how many people left an organization. Accommodation will be how many persons are enjoying the hospitality of the organization, how many are opting out, how many needed and still opt out. Number of years of services will be depicted subsequently. Total workforce can be also be a particular, you can fragment that workforce into a number of parameters. Since I have placed it from the Middle East organization, I will say it in a, I will depict it in a different fashion. But to give you an idea, the total workforce can be total number of regular employees, total number of adjunct employees, total number of percentage of, let's say, permanent employees. Then we have suppliers and so on and so forth, or temporary workers that we're talking about it. So this all can comprise a total workforce that needs to be a, we can present it here. What I promised, I'm showing it to you, the various report and the projection that can be coming around. Recruitment is on the project or the month wise. If you look it out here on the x-axis, it is only on the month wise. Where is on the y-axis the various project that we are talking around is, we are coming around the various company. Let us not talk about the companies that we talk around here, but address it to one company, company two, company three, and so on and so forth. The recruitment and project wise appreciation in the month of June and July, if you see the maximum number of recruitment which is happening around here, we go around it where there are absolutely no recruitment in the month of November and December as such. So that is what we looking at it. If we talk about it, the maximum number of projects which been appointed into one particular project. This is the project that we are talking around it. And then if you see only once, this particular project probably would have been applied or recruited in the month of April, and nevertheless, so the attrition rate is very less for this particular company who have only applied for once in a year, whereas for the month of June, July, August, September, another company is on a hiring spree. Does it mean that it is on expansion? Probably yes, they might be on an expansion plan. Probably no, if there is a huge attrition, people actually are leaving, and which is making the, or should I say, forcing the organization to hunt for new employees. So this is what the projection is all about. It. This is what the of all the data. Look at it, the data that we're talking about, the recruitment staff in terms of senior category, junior category, and general staff. General staff consists of 73 percentage. Senior staff is only 4 percentage. Remember, and rest is the executive staff or the junior staff of an organization that is working around it. The way you want to project it. Did I say about the permanent employee, the temporary employee, the adjoint employee, the regular employee, the contracted employees? We can put a go for it. Let us the ethnicity of the company, the cultural diversity. Did I say it that it's an international company? So we have Macedonians, we have Thailand, we have Jordanians, we have Indians, we have Emiratis, we have Nepalis, we have British, we have Australian, we have New Zealand, we have Filipino, we have Sri Lankans, and we have the Pakistani fellows out there working in this particular company. See the cultural background, the cultural diversity that has been there. People from diverse background is working for the functioning or the smooth functioning of this particular organization. Look at it very closely. This might not be applicable to your organization, or perhaps is applicable to your organization, but you can depict it so many data in a so many different fashion that becomes very attractive, and probably it maintains the data can be relevantly introduced as a as you want to go around it. We can talk about the gender diversity. In the earlier slide previously, we were talking only about the cultural diversity. Gender diversity is where there are only males and only female. So you look at the female part of it. They constitute for every 100 employees there was only one female, and rest 99% are only males. So it's huge dominated organization turnover and the project wise basis. Again, just to give you an advance and just to give you a projection, again, don't go it by the way you got to mention it in the slide. I have given this slide for you to understand how do you project your report, what are the various types of report that can be generated. It, if you look into it, sometimes I'm depicting it in a pie chart, sometimes in a bar graph. That makes it relevant. See the number of projects that have been included in a small snapshot in one particular slide. You can have the whole gamut of pictures and whole gamut of data concisely presented at one place. Helps the top management to decide which of the businesses are doing good, which needs a little bit of a pushing, and which can be out altogether. There it comes. We are talking about the staff. Again, representation is already different. Remember, previous round I was into a pie chart format, but now what I've done, I've removed it into a transform it into a bar graph. This helps you to understand, designate which is what. Look at general staff, which consists 70 percentage altogether. We look at the other chart of the junior staff, they consider approximately 27 percentage altogether. And look at the senior staff, they had hardly 3 percentage of the chart. So one can be on a pie chart depiction, the other was the bar chart depiction, just for your understanding, to make you understand what can be done with reporting system. Now we'll talk about the turnover trend. Now, what is all the turnover trends? Employees leaving before 2 years and not over it. This need to be understood. Employees leaving before 2 years. See, look, how much is there? Is 22%. That means almost quarter of a percent for every 4%. At least one fellow leaves around it. But employee leaving after 2 years is something with 75 or 78%. That means of every 4%, almost 3% actually hangs on beyond 2 years. Now, this needs to be understood for your the accommodation status. We're looking at it. Look at it. The senior staffs are not availing accommodation at all, whereas compared to the general staff who are actually in numbers are holding the accommodation, occupying the accommodation as a generosity of the organization. Whereas the junior staff, some might be working away from their home or from the comfort of their home, probably, and the rest are actually utilizing the company's accommodation. So this needs to be understood. The graph will tell you and show you exactly what is happening. This will let the people know on the top management what kind of accommodation needs to be built around, what kind of capacity needs to be worked around, and so on and so. Here comes the years of service. Look at it, 0 to 5 years or less than 5 years. The number of people are working is the highest, whereas there are nobody who is working beyond 30 years. Does it mean, what does it mean? This means the organization is pretty young. Why? Because none of them are working beyond 30 years. At best, it can be a young organization which is less than 30 years, and there are one or two people who are working since the inception of the organization. But as we grow younger, 0 to 5 years, the organization pathways have improved, the businesses have multiplied, the performance, the profitability has increased manifold, and thus you see the number of employees who have been exacting of late, of recent, are on a hiring spree. That shows the number of years services that we go around it. Total workflows in terms of percentage, I'm trying to do it different areas, different workload, different business unit, and you have different kind of percentage total workflows engrossed upon it. Remember the number of businesses we talk around it, and I don't want to go around the details. Just think about different business portfolios that you people are working within your organization and where it can be depicted. Can it be operation? Can it be finance? Can it be marketing? Can it be human resources? Can it be securities? Can it be supply chain? Can it be drivers? Can it be anything that you want to go on depicted to your benefit? You may. At the end of the day, we now need to understand is we bringing every data, every happenings of the organization, be it on a 90-day basis, 180-day basis, or 365 days basis, bringing it, concising it, and concluding it. We feel proud in providing quality services to all departments. We need to be truthful, ethical, and professional, and treat everyone with dignity. That is what is very important. Dignity, courtesy, and respect should be a mutual thing between all the employees of the organization. We need to strive every day to ensure the departmental service in the HR and administrative issues, labor issues, employment issues, recruitment are all met amicably, because that is what the biggest of all asset. Remember, commitment to integrity, teamwork, responsiveness, innovation, fairness, and excellence is what we believe in, what we count in, what we are known for. Is it? With this, we come to an end for human resource reporting. Thank you for watching this video.